Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to rank your web pages or your website higher with no additional links and also no additional content. This will be a free thing that you should also be doing, not just on one or two pages, but across your entire website. It is a little bit time consuming, but if you want to rank higher, this is definitely one of my go-to strategies. It's actually one thing that we actually do a lot of at the agency. When we onboard a client, we will actually take a look at their website structure, their on-page, and one thing in particular is their internal linking. So, for example, I've been asked a lot in the past is like, how many internal links should I build to a certain page? And it completely depends on what Google tells you and also how your website is actually laid out. But I'm going to be showing you guys a much more in-depth actual audit. So if we search HVAC company in Chicago, this is on page 2 as well. So if we actually click on page 1, you'll obviously see the map pack, but I don't want to click on like an easy result. So I've went on to page 2 because again, some of you guys might be on page 2 or some of you guys might be position number 5. But this is the website that we're going to be looking at. This is a HVAC company in Chicago. Now, one thing that I will say just straight off the bat, their content isn't the best by any means. Like their SEO optimized content could definitely be a lot better. But what we're actually going to be doing is if we just copy this URL and if we head over to Screaming Frog, you can get a free version of this. I do have the paid version, but basically what this is going to do is it's going to crawl the entire website like how Google would actually crawl the website, and it will also tell us how many internal links each page actually has. Now, a few things while this is actually doing its thing, it's actually not taking too long, but a few things to bear in mind when you are auditing any website. Now, there are certain areas of your website where an internal link is actually classed as a weaker internal link. And what I mean by that is, for example, if we've got an internal link to HVAC in our nav bar, that's actually deemed as a much weaker link as opposed to if we were to actually have an internal link going through to another page contextually within the actual main body of the content. So there's some weak areas that you need to worry about and there's some strong points as well. So navbar links, they're great. They definitely help with user experience, but from an SEO point of view, try to get your internal links within the actual main body content. Same goes with sidebar links. Now, this website doesn't actually have any sidebar. Well, it's got a sidebar link going through to their Yelp, but some websites actually have sidebar links which internal link to other web pages within their own website. Same goes with sidebar links. Because Google's actually used to seeing those links, it actually devalues it at a certain point, so just bear that in mind. And same goes with footer links as well. Footer links, sidebar links, and also navbar links. Same goes with like breadcrumbs, for example. They're good. They're all good for user experience point of view, but from an SEO point of view, the biggest bang for your buck from an internal linking point of view is actually having internal links within this actual main body content, and also higher up the content passes more value. And the reason for that, without getting too technical, without getting too nerdy on you guys, is a lot of people think when Google comes to crawl their website and actually rank their website, it looks at this version of their website, and it's not actually the case. What Google actually does see is the code version, so like the source code of the page. Now, if you could imagine this, internal links higher up the page actually pass more value. Obviously, Google crawls from top to bottom of the actual page. And again, one other common thing that a lot of people think is that when you set a page live on your website, that Google crawls the entire page. It's not actually the case. It probably only crawls maybe the H1, the obviously page title, and maybe like a couple sentences to try and figure out what the page is about. Now, the reason why they do that is because of how costly it is to actually crawl and index the entire page. So again, going back to what I was saying before, if you can actually have an internal link within like maybe the first 2 or 3 sentences on your actual web page, it can definitely help you a lot more. Now that being said, now that you guys know where you should actually have your internal links, main body content, that's what we're trying to aim for. Then we obviously want to run the Screaming Frog audit and see where our internal links are, like how many pages or how many internal links all of our pages have. So Screaming Frog, it does look a little bit ugly, I'm not going to deny it, but really, really good tool if used correctly. So we've done our audit, it's at 100%, and if we actually click on the all section here, and if we click on HTML, it's actually going to tell us how many unique internal links all of our pages have. Now everything has 30 internal links, which tells me that this page or this website actually has 30 pages live, and all of the pages are all probably internal linked within the navbar. So if we just do a quick site colon, and if we click on tools, it says 35, so I'm going to assume that there's maybe like a couple tag pages or something along those lines that are indexed. But as I said before, there's about 30 pages that has been crawled by Screaming Frog, and every single page on this website has 30 internal links. So when Google comes to crawl this entire website, it doesn't know which pages are more important and which pages are less important. And in some cases, like when I say less important, like for example, you don't want a top of the funnel blog having, let's say, 65, 70 internal links, because that top of the funnel blog, it's not going to actually generate you much cash. Whereas, for example, HVAC company in Chicago, somebody that's searching that will actually be more inclined to actually inquire with you. One thing that I will also show you guys very quickly is this is what I mean when I say top of the funnel, middle of the funnel. So every single website, they should, from a good SEO point of view, have top of the funnel articles. So for example, easy cake recipes for beginners, middle of the funnel article, best cake baking tools, for example. Then bottom of the funnel, choosing the right stand mixer. Now, from a SEO point of view, this should be internal linking down, and then obviously both of these should be internal linking down to your bottom of the funnel. So that's what I would recommend from like an internal linking point of view. But in this case, this website just hasn't got any internal links. If you think of it, it's only got navbar links. That's why every single page that we were looking at on Screaming Frog, where it says unique in links, everything's got 30. So nothing's really got a priority when it comes to Google crawling this page. Now, what I would be doing in this case is, let's say, for example, we want to rank higher for boiler company in Chicago, right? So if I just do site colon, and then if we do boilers, so they've got a lot of actually boiler related pages. So like, for example, they've got heating services, they've got heat cool service, space heaters. Now these should all be internal linking contextually through to our actual boiler company page. Or for example, if we were to do HVAC, let's say, right? So they've got like high-rise HVAC services, HVAC company in Chicago, light commercial heating and cooling. These 3 pages should all be internal linking to one another. They've also got like an an AC service company page. It should also be internal linking. Now, if we were to actually take a look here, and obviously if we disregard the navbar, because like what I mentioned before, not as much power gets passed. As you can see, there's literally no contextual internal links on this website whatsoever. So just by doing like HVAC or the actual keyword that they want to try and rank for higher, that can definitely improve their actual rankings. Now, let me just run this through on a completely different website. So if we do, let's say, best running shoes for men, let's say. Again, I won't do the Screaming Frog audit, but I'll go to, let's say, page number 3. So if we do outside online runners.com. This is like a magazine site, right? And again, if we do a site colon here, site, and if we do men's running shoes, right? So they've got, like, for example, the best trail running shoes for every terrain. Now, this should be internally linking to their best men's running, the best marathon shoes. What was that? The best running shoes for training and racing. Yes, so they are internal linking. So, for example, in this case, right, this website is probably not lacking an internal linking issue. It's not got an internal linking issue. But as you can see, they are actually contextually internally linking. So this is actually probably an actual good example of a website that's actually doing very good internal links. One thing that I would probably say is that the internal links could be higher up. And obviously, there's a lot of content here that they could definitely internal link to, like review pages. But besides the point, they do actually have a good internal linking structure. If we take a look at, like, for example, let's take a look at who's ranking number 1 for this. runnersworld.com. Now, again, see how these guys have their internal links very high up the actual page. I would say it's probably within, like, the first 2 or 3 sentences. They've actually got maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 internal links very, very high up the actual page. This is what you should be doing when it comes to your actual blog content. Your blog content should be supporting your actual money pages, the pages that actually generate you inquiries. Let's say if you're an e-commerce store, it might be sales. Those money pages might be earning you. Let's say if it's a ranking rent, it might be actual phone calls, for example. So this is what a good internal linking structure should look like. Now, obviously, what you would want to do is making certain that when you are doing internal links is just do that site colon and then search for that keyword that you're trying to rank for. So, like, in this case, it'd be men's running shoes. And then just make certain that all of the actual blog content is actually contextually internal linking to one another. So, for example, these guys, they're internal linking to their best running shoes page from their best cheap running shoes page. So they've got one page for best running shoes, one page for best cheap running shoes. So just make certain that you are actually doing that. One last thing before I actually end the video as well is make certain that when you are doing your internal linking contextually, you are also using secondary keywords. So, for example, if we're trying to rank a page for best running shoes for men, we might have best running shoes for men as the anchor. We might have top running shoes for men, the best running shoes for men, best running shoes for men 2024, for example. So you're actually trying to get all of the variations that people would actually search for, internally linking with the actual anchors as well. So, for example, again, if any of you guys are just starting off in SEO, this is what is called an anchor, by the way. So the actual link that you click on, the hyperlink that you click on, the word that you click on is very, very important, that you're not actually rinsing and repeating the exact same word 100 million times. So try and use different variations. So, for example, if we're trying to rank this page for best cheap running shoes, we would want other blog content internally linking to this with anchors such as cheap running shoes, best cheap running shoes, best cheap running shoes for £100 or less. Try and mix up. Don't always use the exact same anchor text because you can over optimize on that. So that has been the video on how to rank higher with no extra content and no additional link building, or off-page SEO, should I say. If you guys have enjoyed, please remember to leave a like. And if you want a growth strategy call for your website, maybe you are struggling to actually get onto page 1, or maybe you're stuck on page 2, check out casualdash.com, fill in the contact form, and I will be in touch. Thanks.